Greetings to all of you. Here in our country it is already 2:15 of the night, crossing from the 2nd of October to the 3rd of October of the current Gregorian year 2024. This night is a unique night, at the same time a night which is very complex, a night which causes grave worries to many, if not most, of my fellow global citizens. 2nd of October is a significant day because on this day a man was born, or I should say a baby was born, in a village in India, who became the symbol of non-violence, peace, freedom and liberty, yet without causing distress to others, at least to reasonable human beings, who tried to minimize the sufferings of others, the pains of others. He preached and practiced non-violent movements, and indeed succeeded liberating his country from a great empire. His struggles throughout his life were unique of their kind. He often went on hunger strikes to persuade his fellow countrymen and women, the young and the elderly, to move without committing acts of violence. I'm referring to none other than late Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, also known as Mahatma Gandhi, or even Bapuji by those who loved him, who admired him, who appreciated his humility, sincerity, based upon honesty and integrity. But this night is also very special in my own life, because this is the night that led two different states to be united into one state in the year 1990, precisely on October the 3rd, 1990. I went to stay in Germany as a student as early as the year 1984, when I moved from the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland to Germany, precisely from London to Bonn, and stayed in Germany until the year 1997, which ensured that I experienced in my physical self the process of reunification of two nations, thanks to many heads of the states, including late President Ronald Reagan, then the President of the Republic of France, the Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher of the United Kingdom, and no doubt the President of the Soviet Union, Mikhail Gorbachev. This was a day of joy, not merely for the very people of Germany, but for the peoples who admired the spirit of Germany, the spirit of the true Germans who loved their country. This was a day when I rejoiced with my fellow German citizens, beginning at midnight, crossing from the 2nd to the 3rd of October 1990. The following day, I had the great pleasure of meeting people from various places, even from various countries, some of whom invited me to join them in order to be photographed with me. What a great delight, what a great pleasure. This night is also a very special night in my life because I confess the Jewish Christian faith. And this is the night of Rosh Hashanah. I would have most gladly begun this live telecasting by saying, Shana Tova, to everybody. Yet alas, my joy is marred by grave sadness that many of the Jewish men and women, young and old, are no longer able to celebrate this particular night with their loved ones, including their family members, many of whom were victimized on October the 7th of the Gregorian year 2023, almost a year ago, while many others, without knowing what would befall them, have been called to serve in the armed forces, in the defense forces, in the Air Force, and perhaps sometime in the near future also in the Naval Force. Because certain fanatics who believe in nothing other than violence want to destroy the peace of the whole world, and have also succeeded, at least partially, in so doing, killing hundreds of people already on October the 7th of the preceding year, 2023, but also calling misery upon their own people, even those who they advocate to be their fellow and native citizens, including the people of Judea and Samaria, also called Gaza, where already some 41,000 people and counting are dead due to this war-like situation, due to this war. Notwithstanding the recent deaths in the neighboring countries, including the very country known as Lebanon, frequently referred in the Torah as if it were the eye of the Creator. from which cedar came for the holy temple to be built. Stones precious and costly, jewels and precious metal. Alas, this night has become a night of tragedy for many, if not too many, and perhaps the most of the people who believe in the Torah or in the Holy Bible. This night is supposed to be a night of joyful praise to the Creator. Alas, we are mourning with the dead and for the dead. We are sharing the grief of the bereaved. We are sharing the concerns and the worries of hundreds, perhaps tens of thousands. On this special night, a unique night, a night which is supposed to be a night of joy and cheers. Simply because certain fanatics, certain inhumane individuals belonging to a certain regime is not merely enhancing violence in their own country by oppressing, torturing, killing, literally murdering their own people. Until recently, when I spoke about that country, I did not name it. But due to the horrendous, dreadful, vicious attacks prosecuted by the regime, the vicious regime of that country, I'm obliged to name that country today. Notwithstanding, the most people of that country are very good people, yet a vicious regime is tyrannizing those people, hindering them from speaking out, preventing them from expressing their opinions, persecuting people, tormenting them even to death, even girls and ladies, simply for something which they called a serious offense, but absolutely ludicrous in the view of all reasonable human beings. For example, if a few streams of hair are being projected out of their head covering. What a shame to the human race, if that human race tolerates such inhumanity. That regime which now I'm going to name is the so-called the supreme head of state and his vicious subordinates in the Islamic Republic of Iran, which have been not merely enhancing vice in the world, but also encouraging others to fall into that trap set by them. Even the Ghazian, and most probably even many people of Lebanon and other places like the Tutsis and in various other parts of the world. Like that vicious individual known as Osama bin Laden, like the other vicious individual like Saddam Hussein, and they're like Gaddafi and their regimes. This current regime of Islamic Republic of Iran, formerly known as Persia, great empire, is destroying their nation, their own race. They're inviting wars to be prosecuted against even the helpless of their country, the weakest of the weakest, the feeblest of the feeblest, while they hold on to and endeavor to hold on to powers, instead of appreciating the power of love. They appreciate merely the love of power. Their greediness, their selfishness, their self-indulgence, and every type of vice which may arise upon the mind of any reasonable human being. As I said, this night would have been a night full of joy for me. It is the night of Rosh Hashanah, popularly known as the Jewish New Year. Alas, I am grieving with the victims of Israel as well as the innocent victims of the neighboring countries of Israel and in various other parts of the world. The symbol of white should be the symbol of purity, also as found in the Israeli flag, or I should say on the Israeli flag. But I'm also wearing red as a symbol of blood being shed at this very moment. Indeed, for almost 12 months on the soil of Israel and on the soil of the neighboring countries of Israel. How gladly I would have said, Shana Tova, a sweet year. Can I say that tonight? With a clear conscience, I ask my own self, and a question I raise with all due respect, with all due sincerity, notwithstanding all humility on my part, upon the minds of my fellow citizens and fellow global citizens. Even the Jewish people with whom I would have celebrated this night, a night of joy, peace, and happiness. Alas, what a night. At the same time, of course, I crave leave to remind all my fellow global citizens, and especially to the people with whom I would have celebrated this night, the people of Israel, the Jewish people, the 10 Commandments, and the commandments given on Mount Sinai through the prophet Moses, also known as Moshe. The laws of the Almighty required justice and equity for all. The same one and the same law for the native and the sojourner, without any discrimination, without any biasness, if I may use the expression in speech marks or in inverted commas, without any guile, without any jealousy, without any vice. Despite all the grief and pains of all those who are mourning the dead, and the concerns of those who are in fear of death, I say, a blissful and a peaceful year, which I crave with many of the reasonable human beings on this earth. I say again, Shana Tova, a blissful and sweet Jewish year to all of you. Shalom, peace. Shalom Aleichem, peace be upon you. Good night.